In today's lesson, you're going to learn how to do a tonal drawing of the iconic glass Irn Bru bottle. This is going to be both a line drawing as well as a tonal study. During this tutorial, you will also gain the valuable knowledge of how to start off every single drawing of a bottle you will ever encounter, using basic shapes such as rectangles and triangles assembled together to formulate a two-dimensional shape of a bottle. Let's start this off by doing a symmetry line in the middle of our page, as our object is going to be equal on both sides. At the very top, I'm also going to start doing the neck of the bottle. I will do this in form of a long, tall rectangle. I would like you to imagine that every bottle is divided into two rectangles of different sizes. The neck is one rectangle and the main body of the bottle is a different rectangle. Once you sit them on top of each other, you're going to end up with a two-dimensional outline of what your bottle will look like. How do you do this to make sure it looks like an Irn Bru bottle though? Well, you need to sort of look and see how long the Irn Bru bottle's neck should be. This blueprint will serve as a guideline for every other bottle you will ever do. The only thing you may need to manipulate and adapt is the actual size and the width of each rectangle to make your bottle thinner or wider, or the neck longer or smaller. We now need to bridge the gap between the neck and the body of the bottle, and we will do this by introducing a triangle that will sit in between the two of them. We can then curve it to make the bottle more round. It is now time to transform our two-dimensional shape into a three-dimensional form of a bottle. The best starting point to do that is to establish the crucial points of our drawing. For me, it's going to be the neck, the bottom, and where the label of the Irn Bru bottle will sit. I will show this by creating a few ellipses of varied sizes as they get smaller and smaller throughout the top of the bottle. Once I'm happy with the initial sketch of the Irn Bru bottle, it is now time for me to apply more pressure to my pencil and create a sharp outline throughout the whole bottle. I am now going to create the label. As you can see, my Irn Bru bottle is completely see-through, so I'm going to be able to not only see the label that is the closest to me, but also be able to see it through and see the back label as well. How will I do that? Well, I've already helped myself by establishing the different variety of the ellipses throughout the whole bottle. So I'm going to use that outline and the curve to create a realistic looking label front and back. As you can see, I got rid of any unwanted lines in my drawing that I did not need anymore. The next step for me was to add the embossed pattern on the actual glass design, and as you can see, I've also started following the same curve of the ellipses I did at the start to help me. This makes my bottle seem very round and realistic. The final step of the line drawing was to add the label at the top, and as you can see, that label is also following the curve of the ellipse. It looks really realistic that way. I have also went ahead and did the cap at the top, determining the light source which is hitting the bottle from the top left hand side. I am now ready for my tonal work. Before starting to create your shadows on your object, you need to be aware of where the shadows will go. You're going to create a tonal value strip of values from 5 to 1, 5 being your darkest and 1 being your lightest. The easiest way to do that is to create 5 boxes that are all of the same size and start shading 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and then covering up number 1 and shading only 2, 3, 4 and 5 and doing the same thing for all of them until your number 5 is your darkest part of your whole strip. Use your tonal value range to determine the lightest, medium and dark parts of your drawing. Before starting your blending, make sure that you have a sharp pencil and that you do not lean in too heavy in one place. Your aim is to create a very gradual build-up of your pencil marks. I would use circular motions and use the side of your pencil to apply varying pressure wherever you want to make your bits of your highlights lighter and your shadows darker. I am starting off my shading at the very top of my bottleneck. As you can see, as I go, I'm leaving some bits blank, as that is where I would have normally used my rubber to rub out any strong highlights coming from the light source. I'm using very delicate pressure on my pencil. I have also went ahead and at the very start of this drawing completed my shadow on the table. As you know, in art and design, we do not like our objects to be floating in empty space, so we sit them on a table. As you know from the previous lessons, your shadow is going to be a direct projection of the lightest part of your drawing, which is your sunlight coming from the top left. So naturally, your dark shadow projects on bottom right of your page. The next step is to take some time to start creating the intricate patterns on the glass design. As you can see here, I have used not only 1 and 2 and 3 numbers on my scale of shadows and highlights, but I've also went ahead and shaded things really dark using numbers 4 and 5s. Please refer to your tonal value range for this bit of your drawing. Next up, don't forget to include the Irn Bru logo on the top of the label. Before doing the same to the bottom label on the bottle, remember to follow the curve of the ellipse when drawing the letter. That will make it seem much more realistic. Now, to add any finishing touches to your work, pick up your rubber. You're going to use it as a drawing tool to rub out any extra highlights and bits of light that are showing through your bottle. Remember that at the end of the day, you're really trying to give off a sense of feeling of the material, which is glass. Now to add reflected light. The light which is bouncing off the table will most likely land on your darkest part of your shadows bouncing off projected bottle. This will give off a very realistic feeling. You can achieve that by rubbing out the extra highlights with your rubber. I hope you enjoy completing this tonal drawing of an Irn Bru glass bottle. I hope you also learned something new about how to draw see-through objects made of glass today. Well done!